In this lecture, we will discuss existentialism as a literary theory, and existentialism as it is dealt with in philosophy. Whereas existentialism is concerned, it means that what is meaning of life, what is purpose of life. So this is the basic question that is relevant to existentialism. So it deals with issues like theological mean that religious issues. Religious issues mean that whether religion is of any importance or not, or religion is of any help, whether religion can sustain humanity or not. So it also, existentialism deals with religion. So when we come to know about religion with reference to existentialism, we will come to know that the schools of thoughts about existentialism, they are divided. On one side there are those writers or those existentialists who are believers in religion, and that's why their existentialism is called Christian existentialism. On the other hand, there are those who are not believing in religion. So for them, this existentialism is called atheistical existentialism. So study of religion, how it is helpful with reference to existentialism, with reference to the meanings of life, this is part of existentialism. Then there is ontological study means study of being. Being mean person, any individual. What is life? What is being? What is essence? What are the meanings of life? What is purpose of life? Now, whereas being is concerned, here the most different questions are discussed by these existentialists. For example, why we are here, what is the purpose of our life, how we are sent into this universe, and then where are we to go after this world? Are there the meanings of any in this world? Is this world in which we are living, is this an orderly world or it is a disorderly world? It is a managed world or it is something disintegrated world? And where we are heading towards? And what is the purpose of life? Why this universe? Why this life? Why this everything on this earth? Why man is here? So this is man's being. That what is he to do in this life, that is the study of being. Then there is ontological means the study of knowledge. What are the sources of knowledge, how we can give knowledge. So where knowledge is concerned, knowledge is mostly, according to existentialist, a thing that is subjective, that whatever I am thinking, what I am believing, what I am getting, that is knowledge for me, and what other people are getting, that's for them. Now, whereas the background of this existentialism is concerned, so West have to face World War I, and then there was World War II. So these were the two wars which are responsible for the disintegration of values. And before these wars, there were values were there. For example, there were political values, there were social values, there were cultural values, there were moral and ethical values, there were economical values, and then there were different types of values. I mean, religious values were given preference before World War I and World War II. Then philosophers started thinking that religion have failed to sustain us, because if religion is good, religion is a thing which tells us that this thing is good, this is bad, so he must have saved us from these two wars. Then they also started criticizing the political system, the then political systems, because if those political systems which were in practice at that time, if those were valid systems, so why wars? Then third thing, economy. Economic was disturbed. Economy was disturbed after World War I and World War II, because countless people died during those wars. So automatically it must have affected the economy of those people. Then there were before this World War I and World War II, there were existing institutions were existing there. Family life was there. Then there was no family life. So values, social, political, moral, ethical, religious, all types of values were disintegrated, and the result was modernism. Modernism means to make something new, totally disintegration, everything of cut off from past. Now people started thinking that when this is life, no system is politically stable system, no religion is going to sustain us, no economic system is of any help for us, and then there is no morality that can be of any use for us. Then what to do, where to move, how to mold this life? And they started thinking that are there meanings of this life or not? And if there are meanings, they are subjective or objective. So the result was existentialism. Then there were these movements, there is fascism, Nazism and Marxism. So these were fascism, Nazism and Marxism, especially with reference to Stalin, and that's why it's also called Stalinism, because here it was something like that's called one man show. Only one man tried to control the whole community. So this was also a problem which was faced by the critics, by people living in that era. So they also started about thinking the meanings of life. And then the world in which we are living, this is called the outer world. So it can be divided into three parts. Number one, there is the natural world. What's natural world? Natural world means circumstances, nature, ecology, everything that is part of environment. That's natural world. And it can range from these things. There are birds, there are animals, there are lands, there are landscapes, there are oceans, there are seas, there are flowers. Everything, even man is a part of this nature. So everything is nature. That's natural world. Then there is the social world. Social world means that there is social, political, moral and economical systems are there. All these are the five things which are very important whereas a society is concerned. So society is a combination of all these values. Then the third level of this word is the personal. Whereas the personal is concerned, when a person starts thinking that who I am, why I am here, what is purpose of my existence, what is purpose of my life, where I am to go after this life, and I am born and I am thrown into in this universe, or is there anything that's pre-planned with me? So what I am to do, what is the truth, what is subjective truth, what is objective truth, is there anything like objective truth? And then what I am to do, or I am going to have my own subjective truth. So when he started thinking that who I am, so this was the question which is directly related with existentialism. This is called actually existentialism. Now, after this background, the most important thing, the next important thing is, these are the concepts which we will discuss with reference to these existentialists. For example, there is Kierkegaard, Nietzsche, Sartre, and Kafka, Camus, and Heidegger. And whereas these people are concerned, so they gave different types of ideas with reference to existentialism. And before discussing their ideas, that how they give meanings to life, let us have a look at these different key concepts, key terms which are used in existentialism. The very first thing is that is individualism. Individualism means that every individual is important. Means that when an individual is going to do something for himself, he is actually not doing sad thing for himself, but actually he is also responsible for the whole society. So individualism means that individual is important. When individual is important, it means that when every individual is important, automatically all collective individuals, all the society will move towards a beautiful horizon. Then there is bad faith. Bad faith means that in the society in which we are living, here we depend upon others to tell us that this is good, this is bad, you must avoid this, you must do this. So this is called bad faith. Then the most important thing or most important concept with reference to this is that is of freedom of choice. Critics say that we are thrown into this universe. When we are thrown into in this universe, it means that now we are forced to be free. When we are forced to be free, so we are going to have choices, different choices. And Sartre says that at every moment we will have to make a choice. When we are going to make different choices, so we also have to take the responsibility of those choices. So when there is freedom of choice, then there is also a thing that is important, that's called your responsibility. Responsibility means that there is no predestined attached with me. There is no divine attached with me. There is no heavenly attached with me. There is no outer force that is going to mold my personality, my future, or everything. So I am free agent. I am thrown into in this universe. I am here. I am living. No outside force is going to mold my personality, or my fate is not already written. I have to write my own fate. I have to mold the way for me. I have to give meanings to my life. So I have freedom of choice. When I have freedom of choice, it means that I have responsibility. And when I have responsibility, now I am responsible for all my actions. Now this next thing is that when we have freedom of choice, the next important point which is faced by human beings is that they start thinking that whether this choice is good or bad. Now again, when they are feeling disturbed, the result is that they have a thing which is called angst. Angst, this is also called anxiety. And angst is also a result when one person thinks that no, I am not going to accept this responsibility. I'm not clear about this, that whether this choice is good or not. And when a person doesn't accept the responsibility, it means that he is a victim of bad faith. When a person is a victim of bad faith, it means that he has failed to take responsibility. So no freedom of choice, no action, no meanings of life. And these existentialists also say that there is nothing like faith. No faith in religion or no faith in any divine thing, because when you have faith, you escape from the harsh realities of life. So this is also a point. Then another point which is discussed usually is that is of dread or death. Dread is also a thing that when you are facing something, you have freedom of choice, and you have failed to know that this choice is good, which is bad. So that is also dread. Then these critics who are existentialists, they say that when you come to know, or when you feel that death is inevitable, one day time will come when we will die. So why not to live this life? Why not to enjoy this life? Why not to give meaning to this life? So that is also a concept that is related with this. Then all the critics, all human beings, it doesn't matter that to which society they belong, where they are living, without any reference to class, gender, sex, or race or color. All people are in search of truth. So according to existentialists, truth is a thing that is subjective. There is no objective truth. There is no truth that is outside, and we are going to accept that. Truth is subjective. What is truth for me cannot be truth for the other people, but truth is subjective. It depends on me that to which thing I say that this is truth. Then there is this knowledge is concerned. So knowledge is also subjective. What I have gained, that is knowledge for me. And morality. Morality means that according to religion, according to systems, according to society, this is good, this is bad. That's called morality. So existentialists say that morality is subjective. If a person is doing something bad and then he thinks that I'm satisfied, so that's his morality for him. That is not a good morality. That must not be accepted. All the people don't accept it. But morality is something personal, because neither is perhaps either good or bad. Thinking makes it so. That is called that morality is subjective. Then there is this word is concerned. They say that this word is concept disorderly. Disorderly means that there is no order. There is no the maker of this word. There is no one who is going to give something predestined, who is not going to give the meanings of life. This word is disorderly means that there are no meanings of this word. And when there is no purpose of their word, there is no meaning of this word, this is called absurdism, absurdity. And it's usually discussed with reference to Camus. Now, whereas this absurdism is concerned, it doesn't mean that you are just always, or you must be involved in absurdism. No, you must try to get out of that absurdism, and you must give meanings to that absurdism. This is the importance of that thing. Then there is alienation, because man is thrown into this universe. So man, when feels that there are no outer forces to help us, I am the only being who is going to give meaning, give direction to my life, though he feels alienated. He feels alienated from society. He feels alienated from God. He feels alienated from nature. He feels alienated from fate. He feels alienated from circumstances. He feels alienated from family. He feels alienated from situations. And when he feels alienated, different type of conflicts started coming into his mind. Even sometimes he feels alienated from himself. So this is existentialism. It means that he is moving toward the meanings of life. Nothingness means, again, this is absurdism, that there are no meanings of life. Other is hell for me. Other is hell for me. This is with reference to Sartre. Other is hell means that it can be discussed in two manners. That all those people who are disturbing us mentally, physically, psychologically, they are hell for us. And the second interpretation of this is that we in a society cannot go ahead without other people, with the help of other people. Because whereas this question is concerned, who I am, so I am nothing without this society, because I am a part of society. People are around me, society is around me, culture is around me, political systems are around me, economic systems are around me, religions are around me, so many things are around me. So I am part of this culture, so I am going to give meanings to my life through this system. So this is called that other is hell, mean that we are dependent upon others, we cannot live alone this life. Then being in itself and being for itself. Being in itself means that all these things which are existing as it is. Suppose there are trees, there are stones are there, mountains are there. These are the things which are existing, and they are called being in itself. And then there is where being for itself is concerned, only man is the entity in this universe which believes in being for itself, because he is to give direction to his life, he is to give meaning to his life, he is to conquer this life, he has freedom of choice, he has responsibility, he has to face angst, and then he has to reach certain destination. And this is also, if being for itself is also called authentic living, and unauthentic living is that you have failed to give meaning to your life. This is nausea. So nausea means that when you think that what are the meanings of life, and you fail to give meaning to that life, the result is nausea. And this is the most important line. Life starts on the other side of disappointment. It means that after coming to know that we have in this society, that according to existentialism, suppose we know that there is no faith, no need of faith. Faith is something that makes us free from the responsibilities. Then there is bad faith. We also think that world is created disorderly, though this is also disappointment. No purpose of life, this is totally disappointed thing. And then there is freedom of choice, and if we fail to have freedom of choice, the result is angst, and then result is dread. And then morality, that also can be, and we start feeling alienated. When you come to know that life is full of problems, full of all these things, there is alienation, there is nothingness, other is hell for me, and being for itself is disturbed, authentic living is disturbed, and we are having nausea. What are all these things? All these things are disappointments. Then what to do? Sartre says that life starts on the other side of disappointment. Life starts on the other side of disappointment means that by keeping all these things aside at one side, you must start living life authentically, and in this way you can give meanings to your life. This is about the key concepts and also its background, whereas the critics are concerned who tell us and what are the meanings of love, how we can give meanings to life. So we will discuss them in the next part of the video, and in this lecture we have just given you key elements and then the background of this existentialism.